Her Grace awaits inside.
Here at last. We lack only Damien now. I'm worried something might have happened to him.
Captain seems like a man who can take care of himself.
Perhaps he can, but this Cintrian appears to be no common bandit. He managed to steal ducal wine from under my guardsman's noses. We only learned of it through a fortunate coincidence. And it was he who specified the victims for the vampire. One must be exceptionally confident to blackmail such a monster.
Still don't know this Cintrian's behind the kidnapping and blackmail. Might have just handled the theft of the wine.
Even if it's so, he then sold the wine to the blackmailers. As I see it, that makes him an accomplice.
Need to find the Cintrian, whether or not he's responsible for the murders. Even if none of it's his doing, he could still know our blackmailer's identity. Besides, it's one thing to know who ordered the killings. Other thing entirely, and just as important, is why they... Someone's coming.
Captain, why so long? We expected you hours ago.
This Cintrian does not work alone. We are fighting an organization, not one man. Bandits attacked us, not a small force either. One of my boys has a broken arm, another a shattered knee, lamed for life. And the word on the street is there's a hefty bounty on your head, Geralt.
Used to it. Not the first time I've been hunted.
Must you always? Now, the port warehouse where the wine was delivered, we identified it, then learned who had hired it out. This proved to be a beggar, a stand-in. We found him. He admitted all. A man had paid him to sign the lease, a man he met while begging outside the pheasantry. There, fate lent us a hand. A waitress recalled spilling wine on a nobleman who spoke with a Cintrian accent.
What did he look like?
Her description was not helpful. Handsome, well-dressed, with a beard. No distinguishing marks. This could be anyone. But she remembered his female companion very well, as she recognized her. On the Cintrian's arm was Cecilia Bellant.
The singer? I've heard of her. She's said to be gifted, very.
The same. We went to her home immediately. Cecilia was not there, but we questioned her servants. A chambermaid claimed Cecilia is to meet a Cintrian gentleman tonight. She'd invited him to a reception mounted by the Mandragora.
The Mandragora? What's that?
A club, an affiliation of local artists. Painters, sculptors, troubadours and dancers.
Never heard of it.
They exude mystique, consciously, I think. Behaving like an exclusive cabal. Artistic elites. Every now and again they mount soirees. Only wealthy patrons are invited. All arrive in elaborate masks, then drink and flirt.
Gotta nab the Cintrian. Seems we have to go to that get-together.
You read my mind, Witcher. I shall gather my men, surround the establishment. Not a mouse will squeeze through.
Out of the question. If the Cintrian truly does have men about the city, he will find out and escape once again.
Duchess is right. Need to be careful. Best go there, blend in with the crowd.
Precisely what we shall do.
We, Your Grace.
Geralt and I. In that sort of company, the Witcher could use my help.
Where's the event gonna be held?
The Mandragora always assembles at the same place, a residence in Oatville. It's a very distinguished district. Geralt, you must don appropriate attire. Then meet me in Oatville, in Mountebank Alley.
Something's in the wind.
Witcher Geralt, the Duchess's darling.
Suspiciously loud for a cemetery at night. Strange. Can't hear anything now. Damn it. More fighting. Noises coming from the catacombs, it seems. So, noises coming from here. Not a soul. Strange. Doesn't look anything like a grave hag's lair either. Louis de Corentin died on the day of Saint Zoetham's remembrance. Pretty fresh. Funeral wasn't too long ago. Gold. Can't be grave robbers. None worth their salt would have left this. Here lies Margot de Corentin. Smashed, as if someone threw it against the wall. No sign of monsters or grave robbers. Bit of a mess, that's all. Maybe this isn't the spot after all. Strange. Noise is clearly coming from that tomb. Impossible. Something's not right. Need to hide, see how things play out.
You'd rather lie about all day, flipping those cards like some dwarf. Disgusting.
Indeed. Far better to stand at the door of Lepioda's temple, mumbling prayers from dawn till dusk.
Ingrid, I prayed for you, that you would cast off the yoke of gambling.
Fine job you did of it. Seems the gods had also heard enough of your cackling. And you? Why are you here? This is a private conversation.
Mind keeping it down? Neighbors are complaining.
Neighbors? Everyone here is dead.
I know not your name, but you must help me. I refuse to spend eternity at the side of this heathen. Remove him from my crypt at once!
Slow down. What's the problem?
This is my crypt, and this saintly shrew harangues me even in death. An eternity of nagging, the misery!
I was blind and a fool to marry him. He's a slave to the cards, prepared to wager his own child on a round of Gwent.
Once, damn it, and as a jest. How many times must I explain? And who sank our fortune into some silly statue of Lepioda?
Piety. That was my cause. The prophet immortalized would have transformed this land of blasphemy and betting. How was I to know it was all a fraud?
Because I warned you some 500 times!
Quiet! Shut up, both of you! Look, if there's to be peace and quiet here, one of you's gotta go. Need to move one of you out.
Yes, take him. Please, do so, and I shall tell you where I hid his lucky Gwent cards.
What? I knew it was you! And now you would evict me from my crypt, then pay for the deed with my cards! Blast it all! Had I those very cards at the tournament in Belhaven, I'd still be alive. It's your fault, you pox incarnate, that they stabbed me to death.
They murdered you for your debts. I had nothing to do with it.
I see you fell for that pious tart's drivel. Drats! Ah, well, then listen. I've a request. Be a good fellow and set me in the chamber of the Gwent Friendship Society of Beauclair. It's just round the corner.
You a member?
That's just it. I was not. But I would have dearly liked to have been. And joining them in death shouldn't bother anyone.
Certainly doesn't bother me. I'll do it. Where's this chamber?
Once you enter the catacombs, go straight. The chamber will be on your right, near the corridor's mouth, and I thank you.
Private chamber. The Right Honorable members of the Gwent Friendship Society of Beauclair. This is it.
Better to die of drink than of boredom.
You gents also looking for that Gwent club?
What the poking devils? Who are you? Who sent you?
So many questions, so few answers.
Blimey, we're the plumbing philosopher. Get the smarmy cap diddler, lads.
If I only had a crown for every time a bunch like this. Mistake. That ought to do. Right. High time Margot paid up.
Vive la fête!
Hey, is that not this cur with the price on his head? It's him! Get him!
Your bottom's as good as caked.
Now! All together!
Oh, come on!
We'll teach you discipline!
Didn't look like locals. Damien's right. I'm a hunted man.
I shivered just looking at him.
I do! From Finley!
A smashing place we have.
Wine
They say a great deal about you, Witcher.
They ventured beyond walls by vines entwined, into the unknown the barber to find. Bidding them farewell, the gravestones musk covered, they strode briskly on by doubts unencumbered.
Sacre bleu! It's a crime! You're from the north, that's painfully clear.
Excuse me?
There is no excuse. There is but the need to outfit you anew. My salon stands open. Please come in.
All jests aside, let me see what you got in your wardrobe.
I'm more than willing, sir.
Thanks. Think that's all I need for now.
Ever your servant, sir.
Late. Why does that not surprise me?
Well, well. I did not expect you to have such a sense of style. My, Geralt. Not bad at all. And you've even a mask. Just not the kind required.
Huh?
They're a little different, the ones Mandragora members wear. I've brought you one. Put it on.
Any idea why they wear masks?
Likely because they imagine it oh so very romantic and mysterious. The truth is far simpler. This way, no one can tell which drunken aristocrats are pinching the performers.
Let's go. Soiree's started.
Wise of you to hide your weapons. They'd not have let us in otherwise, that's certain. How do we find the Cintrian? Have you a plan?
Key is not to spook him. Need to ask after his partner, Cecilia, first. Less likely to raise suspicions. Soon as we find her, we find him. Especially since he might be expecting us.
What do you mean?
Ran into some of his thugs in town. Knew who I was. Had it in for me.
Right. Right you are. We must proceed with caution. Come, it's our turn.
Madame, Monsieur, an extraordinary pleasure to welcome you to the Mandragora's soiree. Tonight, I particularly recommend you direct your attention to the performances prepared by artists of our community.
Tell us about these performances.
This evening, the Mandragora has the honor to present 3 superb displays of artistry. The first was a concert by Cecilia Belont, a singer whose voice, were it stone, would surely be a diamond. Sadly, Mademoiselle Cecilia has sung.
Shame. We would have loved to hear her.
Luckily, you are in time to see the great Calesti, a master of visual illusions, come to us from far off Afir.
Visual illusions. Interesting. And the third artist?
The third and fourth, for they are a duo, are the Tuven brothers, presenting their newest pantomime.
We were really hoping to meet Cecilia Belont.
You are admirers, I surmise. I'm certain you will have ample opportunity to converse with her.
It cannot be easy to identify anyone in this crowd. Perhaps you could help us find her.
I don't know where she is now, but I can give you a clue.
Let's hear it.
Seek the Kaveri orchid.
Meaning?
Cecilia wears one in her hair. You shall recognize her easily by the orchid.
Well, well. Dandelion's always complaining about artists being poor as temple mice.
The residence belongs to none of them. They are guests here. Oriana, she owns this. Woman in the black dress. There, on the balcony.
Got her. Doesn't wear a mask?
It would be pointless. All would know her anyway.
Kaveri Orchid. Let's look for it. If we find Cecilia, we'll find the Cintrian.
Go on, Geralt, be bold. Show us the artist in you. The paintballs, cast them at the canvas.
Discover your artistic soul. Good folk, yet another soul longing to express its creative side.
Well, you are modern art?
It's the solitude.
It's not a landscape, you pleb. It's a manifestation of the man's soul.
Is all ice.
Requires
Quite the noble color. Splendid. The sky over Toussaint before Easter.
Or a deeply internalized fear of intimacy.
That green, lush and verdant as a field of vines.
To vines and to wine!
Composition takes shape.
Yes, it's sure to be a masterpiece.
Yellow. Why every yellow?
It's obvious. It represents transgression in its purest form.
Gauze, scarlet, crimson oxblood. I see lips, full sensually-parted lips. Voila! Fin. Now, allow me a moment to ponder. My appraisal? The painting depicts spiritual dualism. The continual battle between good and evil, and defiance.
Oh yes, that's him all right. Good versus evil. The dualistic nature of man.
And defiance.
Efforts to understand. It's a metaphor of the constant struggle for power and influence. If they can't agree, compromise. Do not disturb! Shoo! Shoo!
It's the right flower.
Of course it is! A Koviri orchid lends just the right contrast to her complexion.
Need to talk to your model. It'll only take a minute.
To me?
Lie still! You may speak, but for love's sake, do not move.
Wow. Impressive portrait.
I know the style, the stroke. This is Dorian Villesse.
The gracious lady has heard of me?
I've heard Anna Henrietta herself wished you to paint her portrait once.
At one point, the palace chamberlain even wrote to me, but alas, ultimately refused my terms.
What was the matter?
When he learnt I only ever paint nudes, he severed all contact. He said he would not dare offend her illustrious highness with such a proposition. I've always longed to paint her. Such a shame.
I think you may still get your chance.
We came here to meet you, specifically.
To meet me? But why?
Cintrian noble you came here with. Wanted to ask you about him.
Cintrian noble. Ah! You must think I'm Cecilia.
Orchid confused me.
I told you not to move!
As she concluded her performance, Cecilia tossed the flower into the crowd. I caught it, but I did see the nobleman.
Really like to talk to him. What did he look like?
Like many here. Tall, dark, masked.
Know where he might be now?
He gave Cecilia a small gift, a heart-shaped box. Then they strolled off together towards the refreshment tables.
Excuse me, madame, monsieur, I cannot work like this. You must leave now.
Look at the mage. I believe he's casting spells.
Yeah, we'll see.
Need I remind you?
Ah, how beautiful. The dolphins. That is no ordinary illusion. The man is a true artist.
Impressive. Absinthe, the preferred hooch of artists.
Careful, it packs a pretty powerful punch.
I've built up a pretty powerful resistance. Empty heart-shaped box. Cecilia must have left it behind.
It looks like it held a flask of perfume. A gift from the Cintrian, I imagine.
Scent still hangs in the air. Let's follow it. Someone left their loot behind. Looks a little like dandelions.
This was scratched. Someone beat him with it once.
The Great Poir.
Exceptional.
Look, lanterns. They say releasing them brings good luck.
Consider yourself greeted.
Fine. Let's give it a try.
Never suspected you believed in such things. Dearest, trust me.
Sorry, only artists in the Mandragora allowed.
Come, we must consider what to do.
I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
You must be mistaking me for someone else.
I served 15 years in the palace. Your Grace, I'd not mistake you for anyone.
Shh! Not so loud. We are here incognito, on state business.
Yes, Your Grace. How may I serve?
I hope we can count on your discretion.
Of course. I shall be silent as the grave.
Looking for Cecilia Bellant. Seen her?
She's in her dressing room, where she went with a nobleman. They clearly were drawn to each other.
What did the man look like?
Tall, broad-shouldered, a black beard peeping out from under his mask, and he spoke with a foreign accent, a drawl of sorts.
That must be him. We must get to the dressing room, quickly.
Yes, Your Grace. I'll take you.
No, stay here. Anyone tries to flee, you stop them.
Understood.
Quickly, upstairs. That must be Cecilia.
No pulse. We're too late.
He slit her throat. The brute.
Didn't go out the door. Guard would have noticed. Might still be somewhere here.
You must find him before he harms another. I shall alert Oriana. At once. She should bring her soirée to a close.
Shouldn't split up.
Geralt, I will be fine. Go after that rogue. I shall fetch help.
Killed her, then went out on the balcony. Tore down the door. Made a platform. Clever. Must be pretty strong, too. Must have climbed this ladder. Could still be here. Need to stay alert. Smashed mirror. Someone crashed into it, hard, then sank to the floor. Bloodstains. Jewelry box. Lock's busted. Picked open, probably. Links of a snapped chain. Jewel must have been on it. Precious stone. Bloody fingerprint on it. Thief came for this, must have. Tiny chain links next to it. From a snapped necklace? Seems there was a struggle. Looks valuable, but it's not what he came for. Blood on the window frame. Someone climb out? Fall out? Empty inkwell. Knocked over, turned toward the room. Canvas is cut. Somebody took a knife to the painting, looks like. Hunting knife. Richly ornamented. Used during the fight, probably. Jewel was in the box, it seems. Centurion tried to steal it, but someone got in his way. They fought, struggled, that's clear. Ended with one of them flying out the window. Fall had to have killed them. Jewel's still here, though, so our Cintrian must have been the flyer.
So, this is the tracker. A witcher, yes?
Indeed, this is him. We found the body together. Then he set off in pursuit of the killer.
And ended up here, but I've only found evidence of a fight. Seems the Cintrians killed his last. Finally failed this time. Shame it happened too late for Cecilia.
Poor girl. Always told her she chose her males badly. But I would never have suspected she could arrive with a murderer. I'll alert the staff. Have them see to her body at once. Meanwhile, we should sit. I will tell you everything, in full detail.